Hi everyone, this is Mother from Dark Funeral. You're watching Metal Memes MX.
What's going on, everyone? Today I have a special episode of these interviews in Metal Memes MX with Dark Funeral. And man, it's such a honor for me to be here today with you. So I wanted to start saying that Mexico, it's one of your biggest audience, I think, if not the biggest one. Maybe I don't know because Latin America, it's you have a lot of fans on Latin America. So maybe Mexico, it's the biggest or one of the biggest ones. So I wanted to ask you,
It's,
how does it feel to come back?
it's very hard to say which country is the biggest. Are you checking? It depends how you measure Facebook followers, Instagram followers, listeners on Spotify and whatnot.
Yeah.
But Mexico is very good. It's very good for us. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to get back there. Actually, it's gonna be cool. It's always a great time in Mexico.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Everyone likes Mexico for some reason. I think it's the fans and all of these kind of things. Because here the fans are crazy, and a lot of bands dig that kind of interaction and connection with the people.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and yeah, I've been to a lot of. We've done a lot of festivals also in Mexico, like the bigger ones, and yeah, it's crazy. It's always a good time, and yeah, who can say no to Mexican food, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. Mexican food, it's really good. Actually, I've seen you live, I think twice, and both of these
Right.
times were in festivals, actually. Over
Ah,
the
okay,
years.
okay.
Like, yeah, yeah. Since I was like maybe a teenager, maybe the first time I saw you live, I maybe it was like 16 or something like this. I believe it was in
Okay.
the Hell and Heaven Fest. In one of the maybe it was the first Hell and Heaven Fest here in Mexico.
Maybe I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I'm not sure. The festivals also tend to change names now and then and
Yeah.
disappear, and new ones come, and
Yeah, of course, of course. Well, I wanted to ask you this question I've been asking lately. You are a vocalist, so is there any technique or maybe a breathing technique that you discovered at any time in your career that you were like, oh, this thing it's really nice for singing, and it was like a very big discovery for you for your singing technique?
I don't know. I mean, I started doing this like 30 years ago when I was very young, you know.
Yeah.
I had my first band in, I don't know, 95, I want to say.
Mm.
So it's been, for me, it's been a trial and error, you know, like you fuck your voice completely, you fuck your vocal cords completely, you fuck your body completely. And then you just heal and just start over and then you fuck them again. And somewhere along the way, your body starts understanding what the fuck you're doing and what you're trying to do. So it's been like that for me. I haven't had any coaching or anything. When I was starting out, I was imitating, in the rehearsal place, I would put on some cassette actually in the PA system, and I just imitate when I'm alone there, just see how the fuck am I supposed to do this shit. So, but in the beginning, it was a lot of like D side and kind of a corpse actually. So I was more of a death metal grunter back then. So no, I don't. Well, things that I do like these days because I'm older is I try to stay in shape as much as I can. I go out running. I try to eat as well as I can. Avoid stupid shit. That actually helps, especially as we're touring so much. When you have 30 or sometimes 40 shows in a month and a half, you have to be a bit careful because if you fuck up, the show is fucked up, and everything is fucked up. So that's I guess that's the best tip I can give to anyone is just try to keep your body in shape because that is actually your instrument in this occasion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the body it's the instrument, so it's really important to be in shape.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
I ask these questions because I personally like singing, and I think
Mhm.
extreme vocals it's a relatively new voice technique because well, clean singing comes all the way back to I don't know, maybe thousands of years, for sure, thousands of years.
Oh yeah.
And I think maybe the first growls, I don't know, maybe if I'm talking crazy stuff here, but maybe the first growls were like more like war chantings in any other age, maybe. But as a technique for singing like a complete song, for example, I think it's a relatively new thing, and people are still like conquering these techniques. And
Hmm.
as you said, so before, you need to feel your body and be like, oh, okay, this feels good, this feels not so good. Maybe I'm shouting too much, maybe I am I'm just trying to shout and I can't, or something like this, you know?
Yeah, and also I think one thing that is good because I do a lot of studio stuff. You know, I record albums. So while doing that, I haven't always been shoved into a studio and like here you have a microphone, perform. You know, I've been having my home studio for a long time, which has given me the option of trying for myself. You know, nobody can hear me do all my fuck ups. You know, thousands of fuck ups. And I can record and I can listen. How does this sound? I can go back, record more, and you know that way you also learn what sounds good and what feels good. And of course, it's a balance. It's you have to balance that shit, especially in order to do like concerts like we do 70 minutes. You know, like that's pretty tough.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but that's really good advice. So everyone who wants to sing should stay in shape, basically.
Yeah, but it's the same thing as singers are singing in the shower, you know, because you
Oh
have
yeah,
a little slight reverb in there because it's gonna sound a little bit better than the dry, but you
yeah,
keep you need to find your own space to actually rehearse because you have to rehearse, and if you don't, you're just gonna be blunt. It's like you go to the gym, you haven't been in a gym for a long time, you're not gonna lift the same amount of weight.
yeah. Exactly. You need to experiment with your voice
Yeah,
so you can see
yeah,
what's.
practice, practice, practice.
Mhm. So changing the topic a little bit. Well, Dark Funeral, it's been a band since the 90s.
Mhm.
And your lyrics are very obscure and are about like satanic topics and stuff like this. So I wanted to ask you a very simple question about this. Like, what is your take on spirituality? And by spirituality, I don't mean God, or I don't mean Satan, or I don't mean gods of other religions, or entities of other religions. More like, what's your take on spirituality? What do you think about it?
Well, the thing is that it's easy to confuse the two things, spirituality and religion. Those are
Yeah,
two very separate things. And what we are doing lyrically is we do a lot of spitting on organized religion, basically. That doesn't mean that we're spitting on anyone's spirituality. Those are, as said, two completely separate things. I'm not a religious person. I don't follow anyone. Nobody can tell me what is the truth, you know. And if you need someone to tell you what is the truth, maybe you have to go to a shrink. I don't know, or figure out what the fuck you're doing with your life. So I think the spiritual journey is your own. You know, that's the one that you make, and it doesn't come with a book. It doesn't come with a fucking template. So that is basically my view on it, and I think everyone is spiritual in one way or another because we all have thoughts about what is beyond what we can see, what is beyond life, what is beyond death, what is before death. You know, there's a lot of aspects to the subject, and I think everyone is thinking about it in one way or another. So we are all spiritual in a way, and that is, I think, what defines us as persons in a way.
yeah, of course. I asked this question because I also don't follow any religion or anything like this. But I like the spirituality topic of things, like the way I feel in certain places, the way I feel when I'm in nature, for example, or the way I feel when I just fucking sit down and breathe because maybe I don't know, like whatever, like sometimes it's good to just sit down and breathe a little bit and don't do, just exist. And that's
Exactly. Yeah.
the kind of thing I think of as spirituality, or visit. And I love history, so I go and visit like a very ancient place, and it feels certain way. I view it more that way. But I wanted to pick your mind a little bit on this because of the topics of the lyrics and stuff like this.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We're mainly mocking religion and all the bullshit that comes with it, all the fucking kitty fucking and whatever, brainwashing, stealing money.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, when people start organizing themselves into this and telling others what to think, that's when problem arises, I think.
Yeah, of course, of course. So last question, and this question is one I always ask, and maybe you have a, a really crazy answer about it. What's the most bizarre or craziest thing you have experienced or seen on the metal road?
Well, as they say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right?
Oh yeah.
So the really crazy stuff, I will leave to obscurity, I think.
Hmm.
No, but And I mean, you see a lot of weird shit.
Oh
We've
yeah.
been to a lot of weird places. The things that comes to mind that are not like scandalous would be like this, you know, you get the bus is flipped over, you have 3 different tour buses in a week. Those kind of boring, lame stuff. I wish I had something juicy to give you, but no,
Yeah,
what
no
happens
worries.
on the road stays on the road.
Of course, of
That's
course.
that's a
Uh,
thing.
I understand. Yeah, yeah, no worries. So thank you so very much for your time. People,
Thank you.
go see Dark Funeral live in Mexico City, Circo Volador. March, right? 23rd of March, I think.
Yeah, we're starting the tour actually next, I think next Friday in Brazil, and then we go around Latin America, and we end up in Mexico. Mexico City is the last show. I don't remember the date of that one, but it's the last show on the tour. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was the 23rd of March. I saw it
that is probably
early
correct.
on the morning. So yeah,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sounds about right.
don't miss them live.
Yes.